Elite Facts presents 10 Kick-Ass Batman Facts.
10.
Batman has the largest rogues gallery out of every hero. Batman's eclectic collection of baddies has not only helped to give the stories of Batman, but also the success of Batman in all forms of entertainment. Batman, being such a well-grounded and imposing figure, needs an array of villains to challenge him on every facet of his character. For his deduction and logical skills, he has the Riddler. To match Batman's strength, there is Bane. Representing the crime that Batman strives to strike down is the Penguin. In order to attack Batman's sense of humanity is Harvey Two-Face Dent. The most important is the clown prince of crime himself, the Joker. Easily the most famous and his ultimate nemesis, Joker pushes and pulls on everything that sits inside of both Batman and Bruce Wayne. This is why Batman, whether he admits it or not, teeters on the edge of sanity and insanity. The Joker constantly tests Batman's convictions and pushes him to the edge. There are also the likes of Scarecrow, Poison Ivy, Catwoman, Dr. Freeze, Hugo Strange, and the list is even longer.
9.
Batman may have some serious gadgets, suits, and many billions of dollars, but none of them match up to his most powerful of all weapons, the darkness. Batman's whole philosophy stems from his own fears and how he uses them to propel himself forward. Being afraid of the dark himself, he uses this to manufacture fear in his enemies and to sit and wait while he psychologically manipulates them into a terrified state before attacking.
8.
There are hands down no other characters who have sidekicks that are as useful, important, and interesting as those of the Caped Crusader. Each iteration of Robin and Batgirl have been nothing short of amazing characters. Then we have Batwoman, Oracle, and Huntress, who have also played important roles in the DC universe. The most notable accomplice is obviously Dick Grayson, who was the first Robin and went on to become Nightwing. While other sidekicks ran into issues such as drug abuse and personal insecurities, Dick has always been a natural-born leader and a man who makes his own way.
7.
Despite his only rule being don't kill, Batman has murdered quite a lot. When Batman was first conceived, he would often kill criminals he deemed unworthy of life. One of the more brutal early kills of Batman's career is when he literally hangs a criminal to death using his Batwing. Other notable kills include Darkseid, Harvey Dent, the Joker, and KG Beast. There are several other low-level villains who meet their brutal demise at the hands of the Bat. Thanks to things like kicks in the face, burning alive, car crashes, and the good old sword in the back of the head.
6.
Batman, or the Batman, as originally called, had many famous monikers in the 76 years he's been around. One of the most famous monikers ever given to Batman was World's Greatest Detective. This name became an immediate staple for the character, as Bob Kane drew inspiration from Sherlock Holmes when creating this new Batman, knowing that he wanted to create a vigilante who uses detective skills to solve crimes. Another commonly used name for Batman is the Caped Crusader, considering that Bruce Wayne's name was contrived from the name of Robert the Bruce, a Scottish war hero. It would seem as though inspiration came from this crusading man and the idea to put a cape on the hero. Even though there are plenty of other memorable monikers like Batsy or Beloved, no other name for Batman is as iconic as the Dark Knight. Having been featured as Batman's moniker in not only the famous Batman comic, but the most famous Batman movie, it's safe to say that this is the most recognizable name for Batman other than, of course, Batman.
5,
In Batman's crusade against crime, he uses the largest arsenal in comic history to combat every enemy he's ever encountered. Even more, he has billions of dollars at his disposal that he can dump into his crusade at a moment's notice. The most important and beloved gadget is his Batmobile. There have been dozens of versions, but the Batmobile as a singular object has been a staple in the character's history. Batman's car has survived the times when creators were giving every hero a vehicle, and came out of the other side as the most recognizable vehicle in comics history. All of these gadgets come together in the Batcave to form the greatest arsenal in comic history for a hero who is deserving of each invention.
4,
There have been several instances when Bruce Wayne has passed on the mantle of the Bat to his chosen allies. Commissioner Jim Gordon has possessed a mechanically operated suit as Batman. The cowl was also given to Azrael as a predecessor when Bruce Wayne was almost completely destroyed by Bane. But Azrael is later challenged by Wayne and loses his place under the cowl. In another incarnation, Bruce has grown old and wasn't able to carry on as the Caped Crusader. Having prepared for this day, he calls upon Terry McGinnis to take up the mantle in a sci-fi futuristic version of Gotham City. Finally, perhaps the most important and worthy successor to Bruce is Dick Grayson, the prodigal son. Dick was Bruce's first Robin and his adoptive son. Grayson was the perfect fit to replace him as Batman, but Wayne decides to protect him and pass the cape on to Azrael, something that doesn't go down well with Robin.
3,
Bruce Wayne gets a chance to speak to his dead parents. It's no secret that the entire premise and birth of Batman comes from his parents' murders, something young Bruce Wayne witnesses himself during an armed robbery. As Batman becomes aligned with the League of Justice, his partner in crime, the Flash, is taken to an alternative universe, a place where the Waynes were not murdered. Upon his return, he finds Bruce Wayne and delivers him a note that brings the burly superhero to tears.
2,
Batman is not invincible. Most of the times, a lot of people will say Batman comes out top in any superhero versus battle because he is Batman and almost indestructible. This isn't true, as Batman has been defeated many times in his time in Gotham. He hasn't grown to become the icon and face of superheroes he is today by winning every single battle. There have been many losses over the years to the likes of Shiva, Deathstroke, Wonder Woman, Superman, Prometheus, and the Joker. But none was more devastating than the loss to Bane. Bane dominates Batman not only physically but mentally as well. He deduces Batman's identity, creates a brilliant scheme to wear him out, and then beats the hell out of him when he's at his weakest. Everything comes to a head when Bane takes Bruce over his head only to slam him into his knee, effectively breaking the bat.
1,
There's been many people play Batman. The first live-action version of Batman was brought to life in 1943 by Lewis Wilson. Just look at those costumes, and that tradition would continue when Robert Lowry took over. It was a sign of the times, and it took Adam West to really bring the Caped Crusader into pop culture on a global scale. From then on, it was all about the Hollywood glamour, and in the 1989 Batman movie, Michael Keaton suits up as the Dark Knight. Michael Keaton's Batman finally became the dark and mysterious legend that we had seen in the comics. As much as everyone loved his portrayal during the 1989 and 1992 Batman films, he was replaced by two actors who were critically panned: Val Kilmer and George Clooney. Along with the director Joel Schumacher, effectively killed the Batman franchise for almost a decade. There was the stone-faced acting, emotionless acting, bat nipples, the bat credit card, the collage of ghastly over-the-top villains, all combining to keep Batman off the screen for 8 long years. Christian Bale then gave us one of the best Batmans ever. Finally, Ben Affleck stepped into the helm to play a much older and more world-weary version of Batman, one who is at pains to dislike another superhero. Don't forget to like us and subscribe for more elite facts.